Sunday rolls around and they're back on the screen. James and Dan, the wildest pair you've ever seen. Shooting up the airwaves, ready to ignite. Talking all things Poda, they're live tonight. From pile-ups to gear and crazy ham hacks, you never know where the convo tracks. 1 minute it's antennas, next it's a dare. Welcome to the world of the wild on-air affair. It's shenanigans, cranking up the sound. James and Dan taking Poda to town. Talking crazy calls and late night thrills. Tuning up the bands with the power and the skill. Shenanigans, you know it's never a day. Every Sunday night they're bringing the game. They're swapping stories about the wildest roads, park to park, from the highs to the bros. Radio's failing but they make it through. Working those stations, yeah, nothing they can't do. James says, late shift's the thrill of it all. Dan's like, watch this pile up, I'll catch 'em all. With gear on the table and coffee in hand, they're rocking shenanigans across the land. It's shenanigans, cranking up the sound. James and Dan taking Poda to town. Talking crazy calls and late night thrills. Tuning up the bands with the power and the skills. Shenanigans, you know it's never tame. Every Sunday night they're bringing the game. From wild activations to DX trees, they're riding the waves, breaking all the beats. Maybe a bet on who's faster on the draw. No matter what they chat, they leave us in awe.
What is up, Ham Radio? Kilo Echo 8 Papa Zoo in November. The Ham Radio Adventure Guy. Thanks for stopping by. Your one stop for everything Venture Radio. It is Sunday. Time for some shenanigans, some awesome music, a lot of making fun of Terry and PP Man and everybody else that we want to, and maybe even some, we might even tell some jokes. But I figure we're going to talk about some radio.
What?
Yeah, we're going to talk about some radio tonight. We're going to talk about ham vengeance, because we're fresh off of it. And before we do, we're going to talk about the Patreons. And you have no idea how many of these guys I got to see once again. I think there may be only one that was a new one for me to see, but I've seen so many of you guys, and it was wonderful to see you guys again. So awesome time with y'all this weekend, and all the other people that's not Patreons. You guys matter too. Thank you very much. Here's the YouTube members. A lot of these guys were there as well. Great to see you. And the ever-changing board. Thank you very much, Alpha Delta 2 Charlie Delta, for an off-stream donation. And also Kilo Oscar 4 November Love is back on the board, and he jumped up 2 spots, but he knocked Steven off the board.
My boot.
It was still good to see you, Boo. Dan, what's going on, buddy?
Man, hopefully everybody is back home safely or traveling safely back from Xenia. And I had fun at Dayton Ham Vention over the weekend. Let's see who all is in the chat and running down the list. Number 1 was Kelly Rose, KI4JAV. What's going on? Kilo Oscar 4 Golf. Bravo. What's happening, Mo? Ham Radio Adventure guy. He crept in here. I'm not quite sure who that is, but hey, welcome to the stream. I really appreciate you being here. Whiskey Charlie, what in tarnation? We'll talk about your little tarnation setup you had under the pavilion shelter there, probably here in a little bit. Bill Duggett, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Ken, KD8P Zulu uniform. Good to see you. Good to work you with boys the other day. Kilo 9 Alpha Echo Kent. Josh Kilo 4 Lemur Indier is here. Dennis Alpha Delta 9 Whiskey Mike. Bob W4 GA. Toby Alpha Delta 2 Charlie Delta. Brent November 4 Bravo Delta Whiskey. Ronnie Kilo Oscar 4 Zulu Romeo X-Ray is here. Mike 88 KB. Grampy Terry is back. Kilo 8 Golf Quebec. Scrolling on down. Whiskey 0 Charlie Golf Charlie. 5'9" from East Tennessee on the Kenwood. Welcome. Andy Callie, always good to see you, buddy. Alpha Echo 4 X-Ray Oscar is here too. That's Georgia Parks and Propagation. Our buddy Chris. Sherry, driving on the sidewalk right now, probably. Kilo Echo 8 Yankee Victor Delta. And Sherry, I'll take a ribeye, please. I really appreciate it. NCEMTB, that is Jason KK4GPT. Good evening. Good evening. Bob Kilo Oscar 4 Zulu India Kilo. Hello. He said it was great to see many of you this weekend. I'm sure it was a blast. Whiskey 9 Bravo Tango Mike, or Whiskey 9 Big Tall Mike. What is going on, buddy? I'm assuming your name is Mike. Good to have you in the chat. Kilo Mike 4 Q&A. We all know who that is. And we had a discussion about your call sign backstage because I always want to think it's Kilo Quebec 4 for some reason. I'm not sure, but Kilo Mike 4 Q&A. Anna, good to see you. And I think that's it. If I missed anybody, slap me in the chat and I'll give you a hello. But James, how was your weekend?
Dude, my weekend was amazing. It had some down moments too, but it was amazing. I mean, you can see I'm wearing a different Yezu hat than you're not used to seeing. They got a new color this show. So number one, it started off great, you know, getting a new color right off the back. So that's awesome. But dude, there were so many of my POTA peeps here. It was absolutely amazing. You know, here's the thing. I've been going to these shows now. I go to the three big shows every year, and I've done that for like the last 4 years now. And I have yet to go to a show where I don't meet new POTA peeps. You know, and some of them, I'm not saying they're new and just started hunting me. I mean, like, for example, I'll throw this one out there. So this is my embarrassing POTA story. I even told it this weekend. So when I first started doing POTA, I would hear a station and he would end in Juliet. And people are probably already know what I'm talking about, but he's the end in Juliet. And I would get so excited because I would think he was DX. And then it would show up he's from Kentucky. and I got to meet Kilo 4 Oscar Mike Juliet this weekend for the first time ever. It was really great to meet him. And that's not the only person. I'm not going to try to go through all the first people that I have met and stuff, because I'll end up forgetting somebody, and then I'll feel bad and stuff. But there was a lot of people, and then there was also a lot of people that I don't get to see very much and got to see. And you know, some of them, it's starting to be a regular thing seeing you guys, and that's great. You know, I absolutely love that. So it was a great weekend. Lots of cool things happened. The weather, however, that was my downside to this whole daggone weekend. So Thursday we get there, and it's hotter than
80s.
It's hotter than the late shift pileup. You know, it's just smoldering. I had on pants, and I then immediately went to shorts. And did a short CW activation where didn't I say we was going to pick on Kilo 8 Golf Quebec?
Oh, we always do, but yeah, we can pick on some more.
We can start on that right now.
Absolutely.
So before I went to the QRP show, I wanted to get in a CW activation, and number one, before we left, I said I messaged Terry. I said, "Hey, did we had great signal at Dayton last year, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, we had great signal." I get to the park, I have no signal, none, zero.
Not even on Timo.
Like nothing.
Wow.
And so I didn't bring the satellite because I thought we had great signal there.
As Terry said,
big mistake. So we get there. So I asked Terry to spot me. He's like, "Okay, you're spotted." And I get 9 fairly quick calls. After I called CQ a couple of times, I get 9 fairly quick calls. And then I call and 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 I get nothing. I'm like, what is going on? And then Ronnie walks over there, and Ronnie was one of those 9 calls, and he hit me. He was 4 sites up, but his random wire was running from his site all the way down to my site. And the peak of his wire was probably about 30 feet from the peak of my vertical. Let me tell you how loud he sounded in CW.
Jeez.
But he walks down there and he's like, "You're not spotted, right?" And I was like, "Are you for real?" So then he spotted me, and people started piling in real good. But that's number one on Terry. We'll get to more on Terry, and we'll also get to more to people being loud, even dangerously loud. So we got that done.
Sounds like a good place. It sounds like a good place to overload your front end.
Well, there was a scare last night, and we're going to get to that. So then Friday was again hotter than the pits of everything. I did, however, find out a new way to POTA. And shout out to my big brother-in-law here, Kilo Charlie 3 Romeo Whiskey. If you ever see him out in his mobile comms trailer, that is the only way people should POTA. That thing, I walked in there and it was like a meat locker.
That's what I'm talking about.
It was, and it felt great. It absolutely felt great.
6 hours later, I'm still POTAing. Leave me alone.
Yeah. So then Friday night, we set a record. A record that was last year set in Dayton of 21 activators. And everybody thought that was a big activation. But guess what? It didn't even remotely compare to the 33 operators that we had Friday night. 33 operators. Toby says woohoo because she was one of them. Funny thing. Here you go. Do you know her? You know her husband's call sign, right?
Yes. It's Charlie Echo, correct?
It's Alpha Delta 2 Charlie Elta.
Yeah, Elta. Yeah. I got you.
That's what I kept calling him all weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had 33 ops, and shout out to Brian because when we had 18 ops in Murphy, Brian seen how rough it was for everybody screaming, "What was that call? What was this call? What was that?" And Brian brings a big, huge TV and runs it from his laptop. He's watching my laptop, making sure he's getting every call right, or my tablet, and he's typing them in. And everybody else has this huge TV to look at instead of coming up to the. We had the Roses running the mic, and they did a great job, especially considering there was about 30 of those 33 adults talking in the background.
Kaylee killed it. Did a great job.
It got really loud out there, but they did an awesome job. Unfortunately, we did have to call late shift early. We got late shift activated, but we had to call it early because the tornadoes weather decided to move in on us, and I felt like it was more important to get everybody to safety, so I called it, and I'm gonna I'm going to tell a funny story on Toby right now. So I had planned on working Toby park to park because I knew she may not have access to the radio the next day. But I stood up and told everybody, I said, tornadoes are moving in. I want everybody to go to safety. Thanks for coming, blah, 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 blah. And before I could turn my head, Toby had beelined out of there. She was gone. I did not have to tell her twice. But yeah, luckily a tornado did not come through our campground, but it was some pretty high winds and some hail. But we headed to the Waffle House and hung out, so we were all good. I know there were some people hunkering in bathrooms there and stuff that night. But
as long as the Waffle House is open, it's not all that bad. If the Waffle House ever closes, you are in deep doo-doo.
Yeah. Shout out to this particular Waffle House who hired people with more than 2 teeth.
Speaking of bad weather and deep doo-doo, our buddy Kyle, Alpha 0 Zulu, if you he had some forums over the weekend too. Hopefully people in chat were able to catch those. But Kyle, more of a personal question for you. I know some bad stuff went through St. Louis. How are you? And how's your house, your remote site and all that? Hopefully everything is okay. We were just talking about tornadoes ripping through and everything else. So I remember reading something about St. Louis got it pretty rough again.
Yeah. I know while we're waiting on him, just southwest of me in the corner of Kentucky that I activated in quite a bit. I know there were 17 confirmed deaths there from the weather. And luckily I got home, and now my pole was a lot more bent than it normally is. And I was like, what? How did it not break? If it's just, I know it didn't rip out the end and pull it tighter, Yeah. But I look, and it had blew the antenna over to my neighbor's property and went underneath his shed, and it was underneath the corner of the roof, so that was pulling the pole. But I got it fixed, and hopefully everything works great.
That is fortunate, but he said it didn't even rain at his house, but 1 mile north there was a tornado and many died. Man, our thoughts go out to those families that are I guess suffering that loss. It's just unfathomable to think that 1 second you have everything, and then 5 seconds later your whole life is uprooted and changed. But
yeah, Brent said if you haven't seen the drone video of London, that's where I'm talking about, London, Kentucky, where all those people got it too. So
let's see. Anna says shout out to Waffle House. Is that WH2473? Is that like is that a Waffle House on the air number that we can use? That would be awesome. The Waffle House is on the air, buddy.
Yeah, Kyle walks in the door for vendors night and gets mommy noodles right off the bat. Oh, but yeah, it was great to see Kyle again. Got to see Kelly up there and her husband. So they're once again they're going to help me with my island that I need to get done. So
is the date still planned to be the same?
Huh?
You said you weren't sure about the date of that yet.
The date has moved. But now before I wrap up talking about that activation and go on to the next day, I do want to say at the end of the activation, even though we called it short, I was presented by Dad. Everybody's who's POTA Dad, a very great, awesome gift. I was given the King's slingshot.
Very nice.
With a golf ball and throw line, to put my antennas in the tree. But this thing, I know you can tell. This thing is signed by so many.
That is cool.
Of POTA's awesomeness.
Yes.
I mean, this thing is absolutely great. And he went around the POTA tent literally while I was there And Kyle asked a question, and I will answer that in a second. But there's this question. We'll just leave it up there. But so many POTA people that 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 Dad snuck around the tent while I was in the tent and getting them to sign it and everything else, and I never even noticed it. So, really awesome. Thank you very much to everybody's favorite POTA dad, Kilo Delta 9 Uniform Victor Kilo.
And knowing Dad, I'm surprised he didn't give it to you and go, here, this is so you can shoot your walnuts.
But another great time with him. We had a blast. It's always fun with him.
Mm-hmm.
So, and shout out to Steven's mom as well for sending some amazing fudge again. But Kyle wants to know if A-Track is going to be adding the new Yaesu radio to the bottom of the screen. And here's the thing.
Be right there.
We've talked a lot about that radio, and everybody was wondering if it was going to be at the show. And of course, Yaesu had it at the show, but the field version was for sale at the show. And I know several people who got it. I can tell you that thing sounds really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it produces a really quality sound. I can tell you that. The field was there, and I did not pick it up because I'm still holding out for the Optima. I want the Optima. I will be putting out a video of that radio with some detailed information. I'll probably put that out tomorrow. We tried not to overwhelm him. There was like 4 of us that ran a video at the same time. So you'll hear other voices asking questions and stuff too. But John gave us a lot of information about that radio, but I did get my email where I've pre-ordered that, and guess what? Mine is expected this week. Nice. So I will be adding that radio, the Optima version, to the bottom of the screen. And
we're gonna have to shrink the rest of them down a little bit.
Yeah, I guess we have.
I think we'll shrink them down a little bit, and we'll put it like right there where the 891 is. Yeah. Or I can move the 101 over and then put like the mobile ones on this side. Yeah, I mean, we'll get it on there one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. We could probably go around the whole board with my Yaesu radios, but that's beside the point. It was funny because you know how Sherry's like, I don't have my own radio to activate with, and I tell her there's 10 in the room, go activate. So we were sitting up there, and somebody said, well, won't you buy her a radio, James? I said, you know what, I might do it because I was talking about going to getting a 710 because I had some issues this weekend, but I said I might do it. But guess what? If I buy her a radio, guess what? It's going to be an Icom because I want to buy her one that I want nothing to do with.
Hey, Jerry, if you want an Icom, I got one I can sell you for cheap. No, not the 7610. That's my baby. That thing will sit in the closet and collect dust. That's almost better than some of the statements I'm going to give you from this weekend. That will sit in the closet. Yeah.
So we still got to get to Saturday. Saturday's weather.
Well, wait, what else happened? Was it Friday night? Was it Friday night or Saturday night that you got a coveted 2-meter contact?
That was Thursday night.
Oh, was it? Oh, that was before. Okay, that was Thursday
night. Yeah, I got a really long range 2-meter contact.
The tropospheric ducting was incredible.
We were spotted on 2 meters.
That's right.
At Caesars Creek, and we were about to go QRT. We were activated on 2 meters easily, of course, but I hear Whiskey Delta 4 Delta Alpha November. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And anyway, I don't even answer him. And one of our hunters, Whiskey Victor 8 Tango, answered him and talked to him. And then Ronnie talked to him, who was with me for the activation. And he said, I need to get in that HRAG log. I need this for N1CC. And I told him, I said, you got to explain to me how you're making this contact before I'm putting you in my log. And what was it you said there, Dan?
I said, I got a nice, I don't know, I said 13 or 15 or 17 or whatever. I said, element beam pointed towards you and running a little bit of power.
Oh.
Oh, we made the QSO.
So you know, it's I don't judge how people hunt me. If I hear you over the radio, you're hunting me. I mean, if you technically think about it, I hear people all the time that it goes
right,
and they're pulling some shenanigans just the same. But if you're coming over my radio HF, you're hunting me. And there's no POTA rule against how you hunt a person.
Well, who's to say that I didn't drive up there, hunt you, get a pork chop sandwich, and leave, and never made my
because I know you didn't drive, you flew.
You know, yeah, well, yeah, but you know, I wasn't going to drive 12 hours. You're right. I mean, flying was more reasonable.
Oh, but the speculation was because you were only there for like an hour and a half.
At least. Yeah.
The speculation was you came and picked up the new radio. Are we going to see some new radio reviews on your channel?
You might. And a matter of fact, you might find it right down here on the HRAG streams too, right next to my other one, which is right there. But yeah, you might find a new one right here too. Yeah.
So you know, before we'll get on to Saturday's weather. Saturday was extremely windy. It was nice weather, but we're talking extreme wind. Like I seen some the POTA sign got tore up. I seen poor Josh, or not Josh, but Brian and Anna's canopy got destroyed. My canopy got bent pretty bad. The wind was like extremely, and it was cold that night. I'm talking about. I woke up with a sore throat cold, so and I had my car door locked, so I know Terry didn't get in there.
I was just gonna ask. Maybe it was Terry, but never mind.
I had to lock my doors because I was really tired because. See, you know, I get to the show an hour before, you know, it opens. And Sherry dropped me off that morning, and she went back to the campground real quick. And so Terry just decided to ride back with her. Well, about midway through the day, Ronnie's getting ready to leave, so Sherry rides back to the campground with Ronnie. We get ready to leave the show, and I'm like, all right, Terry, take me to the car. You know where it's at, right? And he said, yeah. Now I have a parking pass, so I get good parking. Okay. Terry starts walking me.
Is he holding a remote fob up? You know, making
and
it.
I'm like, I'm sitting there thinking, and I looked at him. I said, Terry, why did she park out all the way out here? I got a parking pass. Oh, there wasn't nothing open. So we keep walking and walking and walking. We finally get across that last big field, and he's like, it's somewhere right through here. And I start doing this with the remote, you know, not hearing nothing. Well, maybe it's closer to the road. So we walk out toward the road. Nothing. Maybe it's back that way. So we walk back that way.
Meanwhile, your knees are saying, Terry, I hate you.
No, it's not my knees. It's my back. My
lower back.
Back was absolutely in excruciating pain already from that day.
Yeah.
Before I even walked out the gate. and you know, finally I'm like, you know what? Forget this. And I call and I'm rude. I'm like, where the F is the car? And she's like, Terry knows where it is. And I was like, no, the F he don't.
No, you don't.
She's like, well, over there where we parked early this morning, I'm just on the other side of the street from that, the little street that you pull down through there to park in there. And I'm like, all the way back up there by the gate, right? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? We get back to the car. And Terry's like, she moved it. And I said, no, she said you knew where it was. She didn't move it.
Terry, you should have looked at him right then and went, shenanigans.
He's like, well, I felt like we walked a lot further.
Oh, that is great.
And so the next day, I guess Terry was scared that we were going to have to walk that far again. And, you know, it's Dayton. There's a lot of hover rounds going around. And Terry had been, you know, hooking up with a few of them hover round women like he always does.
Right.
And all of a sudden, next thing I know, I see him coming down the street on a hover round. He's like, check out my new ride. Check out my new ride.
Oh, that is great.
He's like, come on, come take a picture with me. So me and Sherry and Dad take a picture with him in what we think is his new ride. And then all of a sudden, here comes another hover round with a big old lady on the back. This thing, the wheels are up in the air, screaming, give me back my hover round. You told me it was for real. And Terry takes off on that hover round. And if you don't believe me, there's probably a picture going to surface of Terry on that hover round. You'll see that this is no shenanigans. This is Terry.
You know, I mean, stranger things have just mysteriously showed up. So yeah.
I did get him. Ah, looky there. Tell me it ain't true, Terry. Tell me it ain't true.
That is classic. Nice purse too, buddy.
And also for people who still wondering about their logs from the big activation, I just got home and started streaming. I will be messing with that log tonight and sending it. Everybody who's already sent me a message, I've got a bunch of messages. I will be sending those out tonight. So
his logs will be uploaded by next January for sure, because he does not do logs in February.
No. So out of the 33, I logged for 17 plus myself.
That's fun.
And I know Liz logged for 8. So there were very few people that logged on their own, but the few that did had a big, nice TV to go by.
That sounds like a blast, except for the nasty weather.
It was an absolute blast. And I got to meet. I got to meet. I said one, but I got to meet Alpha Delta 8 Kilo Bravo, which is a Patreon that I had never met before. But I'm also going to give a shout out to longtime Patreon. He's just not a Patreon right now because he's got a lot going on. But Kilowatt Zero Alpha X-Ray Lima, longtime Patreon. I got to finally meet him.
Austin, coaxial. Yep.
Good stuff right there.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah, I got. I want to say with the other stations that I hunted there at Cedar Creek, the 66 that I got for pre and late with y'all pushed me into my second eagle there. So,
yeah. And so Chris says I got Bear Hunter already. Yeah, I can tell you that 18 of the 33 are still coming. And then every other activation that I've done in 9740 is still coming, including we did a 10 operator last night. No, 11 operator, and then it dropped to 10.
I did not see you activate the twofer there. You didn't get the memo?
Well, we're going to relook at these maps, and because I seen a different map that's not the one that me and you look at.
I looked at the one straight from the park website.
and I'm going to look at it to make 100% sure.
Did somebody draw a map with a crayon on a piece of like construction paper and say this is what it's supposed to be, or what?
No, this was a different map, and it looked like an official map too. But
Yeah.
the person who showed me is in the chat, and they will send me the link to that map in my email.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that, because the one I looked at was straight off of the state park's website, which has the boundaries for the lake as well.
I know. We helped Larry and Kilo Zulu 4 Charlie Pie on our 15 Park Road. They pulled into the wildlife management area while we were there activating, and Stephen was running the mic. So they're in a hurry. They're doing the park, and they don't want to interfere with us and stuff. And he had 2 3-band radios. I said, give me one of them. I said, go to 2 meter. And I was like, you're 5'9" for all 5, park to park. We switched. We did 70 centimeters, and we did 1.25. I said, there you go. There's your 15 contacts you're activated. Go on to your 15th park and be done with it.
Old Eric's been on a tear on the POTA Facebook group about linking to the documentation for the questions that people ask. It's I get a chuckle every time he does it, because I'll see a question that he hasn't responded to yet, and I'm like, give it 15 minutes. And sure enough, 15 minutes, you're supposed to do the documentation. It is so great.
Dennis said tonight he'll send it to me. It's Ohio DNR page.
Sweet.
But yeah.
Is that the Ohio Do Not Resuscitate page? Yeah, baby.
Yeah, Eric is one of those fun ones to watch on the POTA page too.
Yeah,
him and Dan both. It's the only reason I'm still subscribed to that thing.
Every now and again, you'll find a gem in there. But yeah,
here was the funny thing, and I did talk to a couple of the POTA board members about some things while I was up there, but the board did the future of POTA forum, and they neglected to talk about the future of POTA.
Huh.
They pretty much introduced everybody and told what they were and stuff, but they didn't really talk about the future of POTA. So, but I did get to talk to some of them about some things that is worrisome and stuff like that, and some good ideas and stuff. So,
did they seem receptive to it?
The one person I talked to was very receptive. Good. And is going to bring a lot of stuff up in the meeting.
Good. I'd like to see if anybody, I'm sure maybe if they have it, they'll post it, maybe even on the Parks on the Air channel. If somebody videotaped the POTA forums, maybe folks that weren't there able to attend in person can watch the replay. Hopefully, anyway.
No.
As somebody born in Michigan, I'm fine with the do not resuscitate for Ohio as long as Michigan gets Toledo backs. That's great. I will say, if you picked up the FTX1, God almighty, change the model number, please, Yezu. That's horrible. FTX1F field version. And you decide that maybe you want to run this as a 100-watt home rig or a mobile rig in the future, you're gonna pay about $200 or so more if you just would have waited for the Optima.
Yeah, that's the kind of I mean, I know Jason 2.0 got one, and Mike K at MRD got one, and I get it. They're wanting to get that early video out on and everything, and maybe they just want that version. But for me, I said saving $200 is worth waiting. I was thinking several weeks, and now I already have the email that mine is expected at DX Engineering this week.
I was just about to touch on that, Eric, and let me do that right now. I don't know if people saw the comments on Mike's video when he got his field, but a lot of people were really teed off that HRO is they're selling these pre-order units before they sent out their pre-orders. I don't think that was the case. This is what I think. So let me get on my little rant here for a second. I think HRO has enough stock from Yaesu to fulfill their pre-orders. The other HRO stores haven't gotten their stock yet, except for Anaheim, because HRO does their own internal distribution of stock. So all their crap goes to Anaheim, and then from the Anaheim store, they self-distribute it to the other stores. That's why the other stores don't have the new Yaesu unit yet. Okay. That said, I think they have enough stock to do the pre-orders, and they brought stock for first come, first sell to Dayton. But even if they would not have brought stock to Dayton, you still wouldn't have got your pre-order shipped to you and received until after Dayton. So why are people mad that they brought stock to Dayton to sell? I don't understand.
Well,
now DX Engineering.
This is what upsets me. Okay. In my opinion, there's three big stores. There's DX Engineering, there's Gigaparts, and there's HRO.
Right. I agree.
All three of those stores should be treated equally by big vendors. Why did when I first got there that morning, well, John wasn't there at Yaesu yet. I went to DX Engineering and I asked him, because that's where mine was pre-ordered. I said, "Are you guys going to be selling?" Because I already knew that the field was for sale there. I already knew that because somebody purchased it on Thursday before the show. So I already knew that somebody had it for sale. And DX Engineering told me, said, "No, nobody's got them yet." And I said, "I'm telling you right now, they're for sale at this show." And that guy said, "There's no way."
Because that's the information that Yaesu fed DX Engineering, which is the same information that I relayed in my video about it. This is,
but
yeah, I don't know why Yaesu.
They were for sale. But now here's the thing about the pre-orders and stuff like that. Now I don't know who has the Optima pre-ordered from them or not, but I went up to HRO and asked them if they had the Optima there. And now I already knew that the Optima was for sale in Anaheim, and they said, "No, we don't have them yet." Said there's not enough to fill the pre-orders.
Correct. That's why they didn't bring any.
So, but wait, if there wasn't enough to fill the pre-orders, why were they for sale in Anaheim? That's my fuss.
I don't. Okay, so I know they got their shipment of fields in a day before their shipment of. I'm talking about HRO. They got their shipment of fields in a day before they got their shipment of Optimas. So maybe they didn't have any Optimas with them at Hamvention because they've already packed up their truck and drove off before the Optimas came in. Now that's one thing. Now, why DXE does not have any stock and why Gigaparts does not have any stock, but HRO does, I don't think it's because Yaesu is playing favorites with vendors. Because if they started doing that, it's going to leave a horrible bad taste in Yaesu's mouth. I don't think that's the case at all. I think. I don't really think that Yaesu has a pick of vendors or nothing. But I just wonder how they got theirs a little early. Which now, what I think happened was HRO
Gigaparts actually had a few too.
Yeah. So what I think happened was HRO and Gigaparts jumped the gun on Yaesu and put in their orders with the manufacturer before DXE did. I think DXE wanted to wait to see how many pre-orders they might get, and then they put their order in with Yaesu. Now, this is all speculation.
So my DX engineering order was on my front porch before I got home at 11:55 a.m. Saturday. So what that means is DX Engineering definitely sent out their pre-orders first.
Mm-hmm.
Because they did not have none in the show.
Which is, I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, sure, it looks bad for HRO to be, selling first come, first serve when you have outstanding pre-orders. But I don't think they were selling pre-order stock. I think they were selling first come, first serve stock. And even if they shipped it out Friday, you're not going to most likely have it until the day date ends or that following Monday anyway. So you wouldn't have had it over the weekend anyway. So,
like I said, I'm not upset about it because it's not a big deal to me because I've already got the message that mine is arriving this week at DX awesome. Engineering. So, and mine is an Optima.
Heck
and
yeah.
So now that doesn't mean that everybody's is arriving this week, because I know people who have not got that email, but I was a very, very early pre-order for this radio.
Yeah, the Hillbilly Ham said, I can guarantee that DX and Gigaparts don't order the amount that HRO. That's probably true. But I think different vendors get the stock or get the product from the manufacturer at different times, because the manufacturer, just like HRO and DXE Engineering, DXE, are doing, is they ship them out in the order that the orders were received. So if HRO puts in a huge order and then Gigaparts puts in a huge order, then a week later DXE puts in a huge order with Yaesu, those are probably sent from Yaesu to those distributors in the order that they placed their orders. So
the Hillbilly Ham says he guarantees that DX Engineering and Gigaparts don't place the amount of order that HRO does. It's a possibility.
I would say Gigaparts for sure. DX Engineering might be up there with HRO. I shop at all three of them. It really depends on where they're priced, because sometimes it's $100 or so bucks more expensive on one than the other. I mean, I don't mind spending a little bit more, because I know those companies have to, pay their employees and keep a roof over their heads and everything else. I just don't want to get shafted in the process. So.
Well, I'm going to probably disagree with you, Eric, because I think it does the Optima does something that your other radios don't do. It gives you two radios in one. You could have your 100-watt doing whatever you want with it, but then when you want to just leave and head up the hill with a radio, you pull off the head and walk up the hill. So,
but that tuner, we got to talk about the state of affairs in mobile device tuners, especially ones that are made for portable operations.
Well, I can tell you that those of you that they're hoping that in the future this thing is going to become a mobile unit, don't get your hopes up, because I don't think it's going to.
I saw the separation. So I've seen the back of it and how it connects to the Optima.
The separation is built into the Optima unit,
right? But I've seen it, and I'm going to experiment with it for sure. Just getting extension cables, because you can get 10-pin DIN extension cables. You can get, power extension cables. You can get BNC extension cables. I'm sure you can extend those cables out and get it separated away from the body. That's something I want to be playing with. So. If you break the head unit, you lose 2 radios. I guess, yeah.
No, if I break the head unit, I send it back to them and they fix it. One thing I do know about them is they're great with warranty.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably so. Whiskey Victor 8 Tango, our friend with the glorious beard, says thinks HRO gets theirs first because the port's right there in the same town as Anaheim, and Yaesu USA is really close to that too. So keep that in mind. I don't think it has anything to do with the port. But
speaking of Whiskey Victor 8 Tango, he gave me my maybe most embarrassing YouTube story ever.
oh,
Yeah, but before we do that, I got to put some heat on PP Man, because PP Man's quote of the weekend is, "Yeah, you can put your meat in, just don't put it close to the fudge." That came from PP Man this weekend.
very nice, very nice.
But no, so
So
I
PP Man
always
is
say,
convinced.
I always say that it's weird when people know who I am and yell at me and stuff like that. But it's never been so weird as when I walked into the bathroom at the campground and a naked man yelled from the shower stalls, "James Bond!"
Come over here. Let me shake your hand. That's all right, brother. I appreciate it, though.
I got weirded out at first. You got me, Porker. You got me good.
That is great.
Oh.
But no, honestly, I don't mind waiting. I mean, if it takes a month to get mine, I don't care. I really don't. I'm not in the game to be one of the first to do a review or a first look or anything like that. I'm going to get it. I'm going to play with it. And to be very honest with you, if it ends up that for some reason the distance of a separation cable does funky things to the radio and I can't use it as a mobile because I have no use for it as a base station, I want to use it mobile. If I can't do that, and I'll just sell it in Huntsville. I'm sure I can offload it real quick.
I can tell you the sound coming out of the field unit.
I was going to ask you that when you mentioned it earlier.
Is
the two little notches underneath it that look like air tunnels? Is that a speaker duct?
They're speakers.
Awesome. Yes. Awesome.
They're speakers, and they sound great.
Does it have
absolutely great?
Does it have really good bass?
So I didn't play with it much and stuff because I had a lot of stuff I was going on, but they sound absolutely amazing.
That's awesome
for sure.
But all right, so getting back to what I said about the tuner, these radio manufacturers, especially for portable, why am I just on rants like all stream? It's like the rant stream for Dan or something. These radio manufacturers for portable radios need to come up with, they need to do better than 3-to-1. Period. A 3-to-1 tuner is crap, especially if you like to use a random wire for something, do better. The technology is there. If the KX2 can tune a fence post and the G90 can tune a Coca-Cola can, Yaesu can do something. ICOM can do better. Kenwood can do better.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Well, I agree.
Not just Zygu. The KX2, the Elecraft tuners are absolutely phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
But
both of them are.
Yeah,
but the thing is, but that's the thing. I think they do need to learn from Zygu, because those radios are next to nothing.
Yeah.
They're next to nothing, and their tuner's probably every bit of a, I know it's at least a 20-to-1.
Yeah,
at least. And I mean, if they can put that kind of tuner in a radio that cheap, when you're paying all this big money for one, they should have a tuner like that.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. See, all right, so when I have my FTX 1X in the field version, the 6-watt package, and I take it out to a park, I'm not going to buy the $300 freaking Yaesu tuner attachment for the damn thing when it's only a 3-to-1 tuner. It's ridiculous. I'm going to go buy a cheap LDG tuner that can tune 15, 20-to-1 for a lot less price and be happy. You're losing money, Yaesu's losing money, not me. I will step off my box now.
I didn't order the tuner, but I'm excited about the radio. I am excited about it. It's a new radio for me, regardless. It's a new Yaesu for me, regardless. But from what I've seen so far, I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I do have questioning about whether I will use the 100-watt version in the field. So that's something I have to wait on and see something.
It'll be interesting to see the weight difference between your DX10, that, and the 891 in that. Yeah. To do a little comparison of the shove that dog in the mailbox. Did you just give the dog the side eye and he was just all of a sudden quiet? That was powerful. Man. Yeah. Hey, Roxy.
Ronnie says, hi, Roxy. Ronnie's her new friend. So Roxy is, don't get used to people easy. It takes some time. She got used to Uncle Terry because he stayed the whole weekend with us in Murphy. But like the first night she was around Ronnie, she wouldn't fool with him. By Saturday, she was jumping on his lap in the POTA tent. And then he ended up feeding her some of the pork chop sandwich, and now they're real good friends.
They're friends for life. Yeah, come next Dayton, Roxy's gonna be like, I remember you. You got some of that sandwich.
Well, here's the thing. That's the thing. She does remember really good because she hasn't seen Terry since Murphy, and I know that's just a few weeks. But as soon as she's seen him, she ran right to him. I mean, it might be that his legs taste like chicken, but
Eric asked if it comes with a battery. Yes, if you get the optional unit, it does come with a battery, and if you get the field unit, it does come with a battery.
Yeah. And of course, you can run external power. So if the battery that comes with the field unit, you can only do 6 watts with, and an external you can do 10 watts with.
See, that's another thing that grinds my man. What is it with me today? So the Elecraft with the internal battery, you do 10 watts. With an external battery, you can do 12.
That don't bother me because I don't use internal on the Elecraft even.
You know? Yeah. I'm excited, and when it comes this way, I'll play with it. If I like it, I'll keep it. If I don't, I'll sell it. That's the way I look at it, you know? Oh, y'all know I'm going to like it because me selling stuff is rare, right? I'm a hoarder.
Eastern Standard Time says he's activating a Pennsylvania park in about 40 minutes.
He doesn't want to do it now because you'll know, the taxes and everything.
Yeah, he that's tax evasion, Michael.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. You're doing tax evasion.
I have your head for that.
Great stuff. Oh, also a shout out to Alpha Delta 8 Kilo Bravo for bringing me the peanut butter and jelly Reese's.
Ooh.
I hadn't got to try them yet, and they were worth the wait. They were good.
That sounds great.
They were absolutely good. So Eric said he might activate tonight. There you go. If you need Hawaii, that's how to do it.
I need it on I got you on every band, I think, Eric, except for 160. So if we can make that happen, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, I think I might activate tonight too. Considering I activate every Saturday or Sunday after the stream. Weather depending, I'm going to look at the weather because I don't even know anymore. Yes, the Rose kids did love the peanut butter and jelly too, but Toby needs Hawaii on 2 meters. Dan can help you with his beam.
I sure can. You got there. Oh, speaking of high band openings, there was a good band opening on 6 meters today. I enjoyed that.
And also speaking of that, I'm going to get the information on it, but on 5/25, they're going to try to put together a 6 meter, 2 meter POTA day.
Nice.
A group of people is. So when I get the information about that, I'll be sharing that with you. But good stuff. All right, Dan, what you got coming up? We coming up on the top of the hour. And by the way, if you are a new subscriber after Dayton, welcome. And not all of our streams are full of crap like this. This is just what we do on Sunday nights. Wednesday nights we do real ham radio talk and have videos coming out all through the week. So we got coming up, Dan.
I'm excited to maybe get my email from DXE. Maybe because I know I pre-ordered mine after you did yours. So I mean I don't know where in line I am. So honestly, it doesn't really bother me. It just gives me more time to put pennies in the piggy bank. So hopefully everybody who went to Dayton had a blast. Hopefully if you are traveling home now, please continue to travel safely. If you are home, glad you made it home safely. If you've been affected by these tornadoes that came through, you are in our thoughts. If you know anybody who has been affected, keep them in your thoughts and help out where you can. But other than that, looking forward to the week and playing some radio, buddy. What's going on with you?
I believe I'm going to go out and do an early late shift as long as it's not showing lightning in the area. And, it was great seeing everybody in Dayton. And I look forward to getting my new radio. I do not look forward to filling out the financing paper to finance that radio tomorrow morning before I go to DX Engineering. But it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. Some of us don't have the big bucks like 2.0 to just whip it out there and get them. But hopefully we'll see all y'all on the air tonight and on the stream on Wednesday. 73, everybody.
See you guys.